Times Square, smack dab in the middle of Midtown, is an oasis of celebration and a sewer of crime. Times Square is the heart of the city, and many people feel it's a diseased heart, weakened by crime. On 42nd Street, between 7th and 8th Avenues last year, there were more than 2,000 reported crimes. That's more than 6 a day. At least one was violent: a rape, a robbery, an assault, a murder. Carl, let me ask you specifically about 42nd Street. There is a sense among critics, and I even have it a little bit too, that you're killing the street to save it.
Well, we're not killing 42nd Street. 42nd Street between 7th and 8th Avenue has been not only as bad as your opening remarks indicated in the past year, but has been the worst block in New York City for almost half a century now.
The worst block in all of New York City, including the South Bronx and Brownsville and Brooklyn?
The single worst block in New York City in terms of reported crime. But reported crime, I think, doesn't give a full sense of the problems of this block. It is the center for runaways. It is the center for drug addiction and drug sales. 1,000 drug arrests were reported on this one block alone last year. What is there now, which is a concentration of sex-related businesses, fast food restaurants, pinball arcades, hole-in-the-wall grocery stores that sell nothing but beer, condoms, and knives, basically.
Where are all those stores and people going to go?
Well, I think that many of them will go out of business because they're marginal now, existing on this main thoroughfare, which is only between the 7th and 8th Avenue subway station. One of the reasons 42nd Street is so intractable is because of where it's located. There hasn't been any new development on this block, by the way, for 60 years. That's extraordinary for a Manhattan block.
I have to tell you right off that I've always found 42nd Street in particular a venal Disneyland.
Nobody pretends that Times Square ought to be what the block of 42nd Street is between 7th and 8th Avenue. However, I think always from the beginning it's been disingenuous to suppose that the situation there, which is endemic throughout the entire world with crack, teenage male prostitution and all those things, is curable by architecture. And so I feel strongly that the building a gigantic enterprise of this kind, this 13-acre monstrous thing of office buildings, is exactly wrong. And that no time in history has the venality that you speak of been corrected simply by architecture. So I would go along with what Paul Segel has said, that there must be a reclaiming of Times Square in a good sense with appropriate activities that are related to all the activities that have always existed for 50 or 80 years in Times Square.
86% of the people who walk on the street, and sometimes they're 9,000 an hour, are males. Only 16% are women. This is a block that is, in essence, off limits to women. That's unacceptable, I think, in the city.
I think we've already lost the war for the theater district. The theater district has been given away to a tiny handful of real estate developers. The theater district is dead. Now we're fighting this little battle in the war on 42nd Street.